Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're having a great day. On today's episode, we're going to turn this barn image into a painting, something like this. So stay tuned. All right, let's get started. First off, let me take this painting layer right here. Let me just first click the eyeball off and on. So there's the before and there is the after. Let's just get rid of this. I'm just going to trash it, throw caution to the wind, and come down here, click my trash can, and whoop, it is gone, guys. So now we are going to start from scratch, and I hope you enjoyed this one. So just follow along with me here. Whenever I'm doing a painting or something like this, I just like to let my mind be free and just let things go. No preconceived ideas here. I'm just going to go and start out here and see what direction we go in. I mean, when we're all said and done, the picture may look totally different than what I showed you originally. So first off, let's duplicate our background layer. I'm just going to type Command J or Control J on a PC to duplicate the background layer so we can work non-destructively. So first off, we're going to come up here to Filter. Now, to do what I'm doing today, you need to have this Topaz Studio software plugin built-in, installed into your Photoshop. The Topaz Studio plugin is a free plugin, by the way. You do have to purchase different effects for that particular plugin. A lot of the effects are free for you too, so check that out. I'll leave links on the website where you can check out Topaz. I am not affiliated with them in any way, but I just wanted to let you know that. But anyway, let's go down here to Topaz Studio, and that launches Topaz Studio. And after it launches here in a second or two, I'll show you how we're going to get started here. It remembers the last settings I had, so let's go ahead and come down here to this little curly Q thing here and give that a click, and that'll reset us back to scratch. I started out, I went over here onto the left side of the interface, and I went down into presets for the impression plugin, and I went into impressionistic, I believe right here. And when you do that, it's going to show you a bunch of different presets. Sometimes I'll start from scratch over here, and other times I will look at presets and then just alter them. So let's get a look here and see if there's something that interests us here. Let's click on this one right here. 5x World Champion at 100 miles per hour. Weird name and also a weird looking effect. Don't like that one. Let's try the three hens nesting original background. Oh, that's getting a little more like it. I don't mind that one so much. I'm going to keep that one in mind. I kind of like that one. Let's look at a landscape oil pastel preset. That one's interesting too. I kind of like that one. There's some things on here I don't like all this texture and stuff. I don't like that. Now, if we look over to the right, let's say we want to work with this one right here. Okay, so let's look over to the right-hand side of the interface over here. Okay, and let's collapse this here by clicking on this little triangle here. And we can see here we have a text, we have the impression effect here, which is giving us the painterly look. There's a texture effect added, a basic adjustment, and a color theme. Okay, so let's just shut the eyeballs off of each one of these first. I'm going to leave the impression on, but let's click the texture here. Okay, so I don't like the texture, so I'm just going to click the little trash can here, and junk, it is gone. It's in the trash. The basic adjustment, let's before and after. Okay, it brightens it up a bit. Let's leave that on for now. We're going to come back here and make some adjustments in here. And the color themes here, let's take a look at that. Okay, so I do like the color themes here. We're going to alter this too. All right, so let's get started. First off, let's go up into impression. Some of this stuff up in here I don't like. By the way, I'm going to come over to the left-hand side, click this little triangle here, and get rid of the preset so we don't have to look at that. And also down here with this Photoshop image, I'm going to collapse this by clicking that triangle, and that gets rid of the thumbnail. So we can just concentrate on the image itself. Okay, so let's click on impression here and open this up. And first off, I want to come down here where it says texture. And I'm going to take this texture. Usually I like to take this texture and just pull it off. Let's just take it and pull it off. Any texture that was on there, I'm getting rid of it. Now, I got to find out what's causing these lines in here. And I think it has something to do with the brush. Now, these are, see here where it says stroke? These are all different kind of brush strokes. And these emulate different types of paintings and things. Okay? And they're using this particular brush stroke here. Now watch, I can click and click on a different brush stroke and see how it alters the painting. And this is the one it was originally on type 8. And so we can click through some of these guys and see these different effects. And the fun thing about this program is, guys, is you just have to experiment. You just click around. That's why I say I like to come in here without a preconceived idea. I just like to click around and see what kind of a direction I want to go in. Okay, well, that's pretty wild, right? So just click around and we can adjust these things. All right, so let's go back to, I think it was type 08 is what they had. And I kind of like that. Let's start out with that anyway. So we're going to come down here and I see where it says large brush volume here. Just click this and drag it to the right and drag it to the left. And you can see, I suspected that that's what this textury look in the background is this large brush volume here. So I'm going to take the large brush volume and just pull that back till that kind of goes away. I'm just going to get rid of that totally. Okay. So now we have brush size. If we take this brush size and move it to the right, the image becomes more surreal looking. And if we move it to the left, the brush strokes become, or the brush becomes actually smaller, and the details get a little more refined. So this is how you can refine, depending on what kind of a look you want, guys. And what kind of a look do you want? I don't know, whatever kind of look you want. I mean, it's totally up to you. So you can have fun with this stuff. And I'm just going to walk you through some of these things as I go down. Obviously, I won't be able to explain this entire plugin to you right here, this impression plugin, because, man, there's so much to it. But just follow along and you're going to pick up a lot of info here. All right, so paint volume. Let's take this paint volume and pull it back and see what it's doing. Okay. So, and then I just adjust this, guys, to what my eye likes. And I'm going to say somewhere right around in there. I've already turned the large brush volume down. The paint opacity, let's pull the paint opacity up and back. Okay, and you notice when I pull the paint opacity back, it almost goes back to the photographic look of the image. Okay, so let's just take that up. I want a little bit of a painterly look here, so... Or I'm doing stroke rotation. Sorry about that, guys. Wrong slider, Dave. Paint opacity. Let's pull that back up. And get the kind of look I want. Somewhere right about there, I think looks pretty nice for me. I like that. Stroke rotation, you can change the direction of the strokes. So, and the best thing to do, guys, is experiment. Don't be afraid. Play around. Adjust these things, okay? I'm just going to leave it right there. Rotation variation, it'll like randomly variate for you. So I'm leaving those two down. Not really liking it. And then you have stroke color variation. Ooh, isn't that beautiful? It is nice, but not for me today. All right. No, thank you. Stroke width, you can adjust the width of your stroke, make your stroke wider or less wide. And you notice it goes back more into the photographic type look. So as you can see, guys, there's myriads, you like that word myriad, myriads of possibilities here. You just got to play with these things. And stroke length, okay. I'm going to keep it right around in there. Alrighty. And then spill. When I adjust this spill, see it spills the paint out over the edges. And I don't really want a whole lot of spill in this image, so I'm going to keep that pulled back pretty far. Okay, somewhere in there. And then smudge, obviously, will smudge your image. Okay, give you more of that wet, smudgy look, which I don't really want today. Maybe on another day I'll feel like smudging, but today, no. And then coverage. Again, if I move the coverage to the left, it will kind of go back more to the photographic look. Move the coverage to the right, it's going to add more and more of the painterly look to the image. So there's the coverage the whole way to the right. Okay, so I'm going to go just playing with this, guys. So maybe somewhere up into here. I might come back up into my brush size and just pull that up a little bit more. Get a little more of that painterly look to it right about, say, somewhere in that area there. Okay. And lighting and color, I'm just going to leave everything else the way it is for now. I'm just going to click, right here where it says impression, guys, and that'll collapse that. Let's go down into the color theme here. This is a really cool little plugin here. This is a paid plugin that you have to pay for, but I like this one. These are the original colors of my image, and the person that made this preset altered these colors. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So we have 5 different colors here. So I'm going to click the first color is selected here. So I can see this little these 4 little triangles here. You can take that and see when you hover over that with your hand tool here, you can grab that. You click with your mouse and drag, and you can alter the colors. See how you can alter all those colors and shift them around to anywhere you like. And again, guys, the key here is experimentation. Whatever you think looks best, just leave it right there. And I'm going to say, I want a nice warm summerly feel here. So I'm going to say for that color right there, let's go to our next color here. And let's just move it around. Let's just see what kind of a look we want. Do I want that warm brown tones? Not really. I'm going to keep it. I want some warm tone in there, but maybe right around here. Somewhere right there looks good. Let's go to our next color. Let's drag it up, move it around. Okay. See, it's affecting right around in here. I want this to look like there's a nice bit of light popping through here, but I don't want it to have that lime green look. More of that, yeah, more of that warm tone there, more of that yellowish warm tone. Let's just see if I pull down, I'll be pulling saturation off it. Move up, I'll be adding saturation to it. And then we can go through the different colors here. Let's just go right, I think right around there looks pretty nice. Okay, let's go on to the next color here. And move that one around. Okay, that's affecting our sky. So the blue tone. So let's go up here. And you can see this was its original color here. So it was colors up in the sky. So let's go and find a nice summer sky. That's way too blue. Let me see if I shift it here. Moving it to the right. Add a little bit of magentas up into the clouds up in there. And this is a painting, guys. We can make it look any way we like, okay? Because this is imaginary world. This is our own little world that we can play around. I used to love what Bob Ross used to say on The Joy of Painting. He used to say, this is your world. You can do anything that you want with it. You want a little happy tree there? You can put a happy little tree there. You can do whatever you want. There's no right or wrong. It's just truly up to you. You're the artist, guys. You're the ones creating. So these pictures are all going to look different depending on what mood you're in and how you feel that particular day. All right, so I like that there. So let's go to our next color here. All right. Ooh, I like some of that. Like that's kind of cool. I just want that sky to go. I'm liking what's happening up in here, up in these clouds a little bit. Let me just move it over this way just a little bit to the left. Want more color, less color. It's adding more color, too much. I'm thinking right around there, guys. That's looking good for me. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to click on this color theme section right here and collapse that. Let's go up to our basic adjustment and see what we want to do in here. Now, here's our exposure. We can bump the exposure up or take the exposure back a little bit. Let's just play with that and get it just to where we like it. We can adjust our clarity, add a little bit more details and pop, or we can make it softer by moving the clarity to the left. I'm just going to add a slight bit of clarity right in here. Okay. And then we can play with our shadows here, open up our shadows a little bit. Maybe I'll just open them up just ever so slightly. And let's play with our highlights here, get our highlights looking just the way we like them. And I'm going to say somewhere right around in there. All right, guys, I'm going to leave. Well, let's check our temperature here. What happens if we warm it up a little bit? Oh, I kind of like that. Maybe just slightly warmer. Let's check our tint here. Take it a little more to the magenta side of things. Not bad. No, too much. Maybe right there. That still might be a little too magenta. Let me just move it to the left a little bit. I'm going to say right around there, guys. I'm liking that. Now, one last thing I want to do is, all right, let's click on adjustment here. And you notice when you click these, it just collapses them, right? Then we can come up here to adjustments. I'm going to get, and these are all the different adjustments. And I purchased all these adjustments in here. I don't own AI Clear yet, but a lot of these adjustments, especially I think all the ones up here, guys, are all the free ones. So if you would download the free Topaz Studio, you would get, I believe you get all these adjustments here. And these are all the paid adjustments down here. So let me go to one that I really love, and that is Precision Detail. Precision Contrast is cool too. But this is nice. And all I'm looking here, guys, I want to add some more detail to this barn, to this other barn, I guess, over here into the foreground here a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pull up the overall small details here. And I don't care what's happening to the rest of the image, guys. I'm mainly looking at these barns in the foreground here when I pull this up. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up a little bit here. I'm going to go to the overall medium details, pull those up just a little bit, go to the overall large detail, pull that up just a little bit. Now, if you come up here, see where it says Precision Detail, this little plus right here, Add Mask, give that a click. And then what I want to do is right here, see this little icon right here, Invert Mask. Whenever you hover over an icon, it'll give you a little display of what that icon does if you click it. So I'm going to click on this one, Invert Mask. So it's going to put a black layer mask on here. Just like Photoshop has layer masks, this particular plugin has layer masks as well. So that hides all the precision detail adjustment. Okay, so what I'm going to do, guys, is then I'm going to click on brush here and make sure I have my transparency set to white so I can paint whatever I paint in will be revealed, so the precision detail will come out onto this section that I paint on here. And I'm not really painting it, but what I want to do is adjust my brush size and my radius. I want to pull my radius down, pull my softness back just a little bit. This is really cool, guys. See where it says edge wear? It is on. It'll kind of grab the edges here. It's pretty cool. Topaz have a really nice masking engine built into their software, which is really nice, and it works on every one of their effects. Okay, so I'm going to come in here, and the transparency is turned up to full blast, which is what I want for now. And then when I paint over here, guys, and then release it, see how the detail comes? Isn't that cool? So I'm just going to come and paint this barn in here. And see the details coming. And I'm just going to paint right along this fence here. Maybe this little bush right here coming up onto the barn here. And you can see my mask over here where I'm painting in white. And see those details start to pop out. And then I have this opacity up here. So watch, I can take this opacity and pull it back or up. So if I feel I got too much detail in there, I can back it off a little bit, which I think I'm going to back it off to about right there. And the last thing I want to do, guys, is I think I want to add a little bit of detail to this foreground here. So I'm going to just slide over this fence post here. See that? I bring a little detail on that fence post. Here's another fence post here. Now I'm just going to take this transparency and pull it back a little bit, make my brush a bit bigger here. Okay. And I'm just going to paint some of this foreground in. Let me just paint a little bit right there. Yeah, I just want a little bit of detail up in here because it's closer to us and we would see more detail. Okay, so there we go. All right, guys, that's looking pretty good so far. And let's see, looking at my sky up there, which is looking pretty good. Let me go back. I'm going to come back into the impression plug in again, and I'm just going to revisit some of these guys. Yeah, I'm going to pull this paint opacity back. See, when the paint opacity is up, I'm getting this splotchy look to the sky, which I want to pull that back a little bit. I don't want so much of that in there. I want this to stay nice and pretty soft looking. And maybe just take my brush up a little bit. Yeah. Brush size up a little bit just to take some of that detail out of there. Okay. Somewhere in there I think looks pretty good. And now let me just click OK here, and that'll take us back into Photoshop. Now, once we're in Photoshop here, guys, what I want to do is I want to totally put a layer mask on here so I hide everything that I've just done. Okay, so I'm going to hold the Option key down and click on this layer mask, and that puts a black layer mask on there. Okay, and if you hold the Shift key down and click on the mask, you'll see the before and after. So pretty big improvement, right? But I don't want this entire effect on this entire image here. So what I'm going to do with the black layer mask is I'm going just to paint in where I want my effect to be. All right, so I'm on the layer mask, and make sure you have black and white paint here. If you don't, just type D on your keyboard, and that sets your default colors to white and black. And what I'm going to do, guys, is keep my flow at about, I'm going to say about 20%. So if I hold the Shift key down and hit the 2, the flow will go to 20%. And I'm going to make my brush a little bigger. I'm holding down my Control and Option key and dragging to the right, the mouse to the right here, and that's making my brush larger. If I go to the left, it makes it smaller. If I move down, it makes it harder. If I slide up, it makes it softer. So I want a pretty soft brush here. Let's see here. Somewhere around 30%. Make it a little bit bigger here. And what I'm going to do now, guys, is just start to paint the painterly effect in. I'm going to start up in the sky here and work my way down. Mainly sticking with the sky. Okay. Then I'm going to work on the background here, on this distant area here. And right in here. And make my brush a little bit smaller, and I'm going to start to paint in on my barn. And the foreground here. So I'm not applying the entire effect here, guys, so you can see with my mask. I'm just adding so much of it. Okay. Now the foreground here. I'm going to add less in the foreground here. All right. So let's Option click our layer mask here so we can see. That's what the layer mask looks like, and that's what the image looks like. So let's click the eyeball here. So there's the before and there's the after. And that's looking pretty nice. Now let me just add a little bit more to the heels back here. So I'm going to add some more of the painterly effect back in this area right in here. Because I want this to look nice and soft back in here. And over in here. Whoops, I missed a little spot right there. Should have reminded me. Nah. Okay, so there we go. And let me click the X key to give me some black paint. And I just want to take a little bit off. Because this is our foreground here, so I want less of the effect on the foreground section here. So there we go. So here is the before and here is the after. Then we can take our opacity. We can take the opacity on this particular layer. Make sure you're on this layer, guys. Take the opacity, pull it the whole way off, and then you can build it up slowly to the right. And just stop where you really like it. And I think maybe right. I was going to say almost at the, yeah, you know what? I like the full amount here. Because I didn't add a whole ton of painterly effect here, but I do like that right there. Now, let's see here. The only thing I don't like is this magenta cast on the barn here. I have a little too much magenta here, and I don't like that. So I'm going to go and get a curves adjustment here. And I'm just going to go and, let's see, go to green. So green, when you're on curves and you pull up on the curve here, you're going to add green to your image. If you pull down, you're going to add magenta. So if you want to get rid of magenta, you would pull up. You see when I pull up here, guys, the magenta starts to come away from here. Watch when I come back down. See the magenta there? So this will remove some of that magenta cast. And let's come here to red. If I move red, pull red. If you move red up, you'll add more red. If you move red down, you'll add some cyan. And again, I'm just looking right in here, guys, on these barns here. Right here, I'm just trying to get rid of that magenta color cast there. Let's go back here to the green. Get it just about right. And let's come to blue. Now on blue, if you move blue up, you'll add more blue. If you move down, you'll add a little bit of yellow. So I'm going to go, yeah, like maybe somewhere in that area right there looks pretty good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, guys, is put a black mask on here. And to get a black mask on here, all we have to do is type Command or Control I, puts a black mask on there. And then what I'm going to do is go back to my brush, B for the brush tool. And I'm going to be painting, I'm going to keep the flow at 20%, and I'm just going to paint, white paint, not black paint, white paint over this section here. And that'll remove that color cast. Okay, so that's getting rid of that color cast. That magenta color cast. Doesn't like that too much. Let's get rid of it over here. I might just leave a little on here. Might look okay. Just a slight amount on here. Let me go back. Next, just add a little bit in there. Just a smidge on here. Just a little artistic lace in there. Just keep a little bit of that magenta in there over there. All right, let's get rid of this. All right. So let me group these two layers. So this layer is selected. If I hold the Shift key down and click onto this layer right here, it selects both. And then if I type, see if I remember my shortcut, Command G, yeah, that puts that in a group. And let's just type, name this. I just double clicked on the name of group 1 there, and I'm just going to type Painterly. Okay, right there. And let's look at our before and after, guys. So here's our before, and here's our after. One last thing here, guys. After I've fixed the magenta here, I noticed I have a little bit of green in here. So what I'm going to do is grab another curves adjustment layer. And this time we're going to go to green. And I'm going to pull down on the green a little bit here, which is going to actually add more magenta back in. Let's go to green. Let's go to red. Let's go to red. Let's pop a little bit of red up in there, somewhere in there. Let's go back to green. Green, just a little bit more green. Let's go to blue. And I'm just playing with this just to get it to look half decent, maybe somewhere right around in there, which is pretty much where it was. Okay, so let's leave that there. Let's put a black layer mask, Command or Control I, put a black layer mask on there, and B for brush. Again, I'm painting with a low flow here, painting with white paint. Right now it's black, so type the X key, and let's just get rid of that green cast on there. Right in here, and there's a little bit in here. I'm going to hit X because I put in a little bit more. A little magenta was going in there. Make this brush a little bit smaller. Go back to the white paint. Okay. Yeah, it's popping some magenta up in here, so let's come back. Okay, just right there. That just looks better. But there's a little bit of green right here. And maybe a little bit here. And then I put some magenta back here. Whoops. X. X. All right, so let's look here. So there's before, there's the green cast, there's the after. That's looking better. And let's just take the opacity. See if we can find a happy little medium in there. I'm thinking right there. Okay, guys, so here's the before, here's the after. All right, I just wanted to fix that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one today, guys. There's a painting using Topaz Impression. I really like Topaz Impression, so please check those guys out. It's really a cool plugin, and it really helps you to get a little more painterly with your images, and they're a lot of fun to do. Well, if you like this one today, guys, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And also, if you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please do so and click that bell notification icon so you can be informed of all the new training videos that I'm putting out on a regular basis. All right, guys, I will see you right here next time on The Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. So long, guys. See you next time.